In the headlines, troops intercept 900 family members and collaborators of Boko Haram fighters. Ahead of governorship election, INEC asks security agencies to perform optimally. Traders say business gradually picking up after directive on legal status of old Naira notes. And on the international scene, Malawi declares state of disaster as death toll from Cyclone Freddy passes 200. Hello and welcome to News Update on Trust TV. I am Sagir Ibrahim. Hello and welcome once again. The Multinational Joint Task Force MNJTF says its troops of Sectors 3 and 4 have apprehended more than 900 suspected family members and collaborators of Boko Haram and ISWAP fighters. A statement on Wednesday by MNJTF's Chief Military Public Information Officer in N'Djamena, Chad, Lieutenant Colonel Kamaruddin Adegoke, said that the infighting by the Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorist groups, as well as the bombardment of the MNJTF and other national operations, had triggered their movement. Adegoke said that there had been continuous movements of large bodies of people from the Sambisa forest to the Lake Chad Basin within the last 1 month. The statement said troops on night patrol along Ngagam-Jaluri axis also rescued 3 women alongside their 4 children who were fleeing from the fighting between the Boko Haram and ISWAP from Sambisa forests. Another 70 terrorist family members comprising 43 women and 30 children were intercepted by the troops. He said this followed the arrest of 2 suspected Boko Haram terrorist logistics suppliers and their collaborators, Mohammed Sabu and Serki Danladi, while trying to exit Munguno town to the Tumbans to link up with the terrorists. And also, police in Katsina have apprehended a notorious bandit, Suleiman Ibrahim, a member of the Dankaremi terrorist camp in Rugu Forest. The arrested terrorist kingpin confessed to have killed over 15 people in 3 years he operated as a bandit. Abdullahi Yamadi completes the report.
The police operatives from Dusima Area Command apprehended the terrorist during an operation in Dusima, Bazari, Safana, and Damusa local government areas.
This suspect that you are seeing here with me, by name Suleiman Ilyasu, alias Erbusha, is 28 years old and is from a village called Asaurara, Sabor Ungwa, Walawa, Jibia local government area of Katsina State. He's a member of a notorious syndicate of terrorist bandits, particularly under the camp of one Dankaremi. Dankaremi has been on the wanted list of the Nigeria police for committing crimes against humanity in Katsina, Zamfara, Kaduna, Kebbi, and Sokoto states. He confessed to have killed more than 15 persons in several attacks various local government areas of the state.
The suspected terrorist also confessed to have masterminded several attacks which led to killings, abductions, and rustling of thousands of domestic animals across the Flashpoint local government areas. He also confessed to have participated in numerous attacks on various communities in both Katsina and Zamfara states, leading to killings and destruction of properties worth hundreds of millions of naira. Look, I know I masterminded several attacks and participated in many others within the 3 years I served in Dankaremi terrorist camp. But that does not mean the police cannot temper justice with mercy. I was in the terrorist camp as a result of some conditions I was given. While admitting his relationship with Dankaremi, a notorious terrorist kingpin who has been on the police wanted list, Suleiman Ilyasu said Dankaremi is operating in Katsina, Zamfara, and some parts of Kaduna State. He, however, pleaded with the police operatives to temper justice with mercy even as they assured of charging the suspected terrorists to court for prosecution after investigation. Abdullahi Ismail-Amadi, Trust Television News, Kazana.
Well, there you have it. Now, in politics, Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, has praised the security agency's performance during the just concluded presidential and National Assembly elections, urging them to replicate same during the forthcoming governorship and state assembly elections. Noel Sampson reports that he made the commendation during the Commission's meeting with the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security. His report.
Security of officials, materials and voters is imperative on election day. For the INEC chairman, security agencies have not done badly during the presidential and National Assembly elections. Mahmood Yakubu commended the cooperation of the different security agencies during the just concluded elections, with a call for them to do more in the impending governorship and state assembly elections.
We look forward to improved performance in the election holding this weekend. The governorship election will hold in 28 states of the Federation. As we are aware, governorship elections in 8 states, Anambra, Bayelsa, Edo, Ekiti, Imo, Kogi, Ondo, and Osun states are held off-cycle and therefore not conducted during the general election. However, elections will be conducted for all the 993 state constituencies nationwide. Our state offices have made available to the Nigeria Police Force, being the lead agency in election security, the delimitation details for both the governorship and state assembly elections.
The National Security Advisor, Babagana Mogono, commended the peaceful conduct of political parties and their members during the elections. He said national security should not be relegated to the background during the forthcoming elections.
So far, so good. We do not envisage anything that's going to be terrible or apocalyptic in terms of the next few days. But that does not mean that we should all do away with our state of readiness. We must comply with the rules. We must also allow everyone, I've said this so many times, to exercise their fundamental rights as citizens of this country. What we do not want to happen is for anybody to preempt and to take the law into his or her own hands.
Rivalry and competition for political offices are more intense during governorship elections, shaped largely by local politics. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Still talking politics, Nigerians returned to the polls on Saturday, March 18, to elect governors in 28 out of the 36 states. The poll would also offer the opportunity to elect lawmakers for the 36 state houses of assembly. In Lagos, 40-year-old architect Gbadebo Rhodes Vivoa of the Labour Party and a former member of the All Progressives Congress, Abdulaziz Adediran, who is now the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, are seeking to end the reign of the ruling party in the state. Take a look.
Prior to the February 25th general polls, the contest in Lagos was expected to be a straight fight between Babajide Sanwo-Olu of the APC and Abdulaziz Adeniran of the PDP. However, the victory of Peter Obi in Lagos State during the presidential polls has changed the dynamics. The governorship candidate of the Labour Party, Gbadebo Rhodes Vivoa, is now seen as a major challenger for Alausa House and possibly end the control of the APC in the state. The 40-year-old architect has become a rallying point for young voters who are seeking a change of government in the state. Sanwo-Olu, who is one of the few governors seeking a second term in office, said he has performed well, especially on his themes agenda. The acronym of the 6 pillars of the state's strategic development agenda, namely traffic management and transportation, health and environment, education and technology, making Lagos a 21st century economy, entertainment and tourism, as well as security and governance. Rhodes Vivoa, on the other hand, said the APC-led government in the state has performed poorly since the return of democracy in 1999. Some Lagos residents speak on their expectations ahead of the polls.
Towards this forthcoming election, it might not be in the same vein of the previous election of the 25th of February. There will be a difference because a lot of people felt so concerned about the condition of the country, that there was no money, sales are not there. But right now things are better. Reason because the federal government have said we should go ahead to transact with the old currency. Is now back to legal tender, which is good. And in this vein, I think it's going to assist a lot of mind change towards the election. That is how prepared we are for now.
I'm prepared. It's Saturday, we go out to vote. It's not the first time I'm voting, so we just go out to vote. No one is denying you also of our civic responsibilities. So there's no pressure in voting. There's no overdo or overthinking about it. I go out to vote, that's all.
I know it will be better than the February election because of the cash crunch during the February election. It affects the election a bit. People were cash strapped, but with the new announcement by the CBN that the banks should start accepting the old note 500 and 1,000, I think it will ease the pain of the people, and which will also impact positively on the election, on the preparedness by the politicians and the voters too.
Negotiations are being encouraged to actively participate in the March 18th governorship election. Many are hopeful that the Independent National Electoral Commission will deliver a free and fair polls.
Well, Lagos residents ahead of Saturday's governorship election. And in Kano, traders say business is gradually picking up since the presidential nod and the central bank's directive to banks on the legal status of the old Naira notes. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that although customers are still using point-of-sale devices to pay for transactions, the old 500 and 1,000 Naira notes are now being accepted by traders. Take a look.
Across many parts of the commercial city of Kano, majority of traders say they have now resumed to collecting the old Naira notes following the CBN announcement. But some say the cash is not available in the market.
We have had the news on the radio, but you see there is still no cash in the market. People are yet to start bringing out their money, but when people started bringing it out, we will collect.
According to traders in some market of Kano metropolis, most people are still not aware that CBN has directed the use of the old 500 and 1,000 Naira note, which is why some customers and traders alike are yet to start accepting it.
Whatever the CBN governor says is like the president, because he can't do it without the approval of the president. But you see, some people are still not accepting it. But we here in the market, if they bring the money to us, we will collect. Even now, I have accepted 10,000 Naira old note. And anyone that bring it to me, I will collect it.
Although people are still trooping across all commercial banks in Kano to get cash, but traders say less than 24 hours since the announcement, businesses are fast picking up in Kano, and that many people have complied to accepting the old notes.
Truly, because of this announcement, we have started collecting the old Naira notes, and businesses are picking up. And even those who are bringing goods to us from the village, once we call them, they will bring it because they know that there is cash now. We will just give them. So gradually, things are picking up here with us. Even now, I want to buy ingredients to take to my house, and I'm going to give them the old Naira note. So people are accepting it now.
At the moment, cash is still scarce in circulation, but most people believe that with the latest development, things will improve in the next coming days. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Still on the Naira policy, the directive of the Central Bank of Nigeria to commercial banks recognizing old Naira notes as legal tender has elicited happiness among residents of the Federal Capital Territory. Trust TV's Kabir Lawal reports that the initial long silence of the Apex Bank since the Supreme Court order on March the 3rd left residents confused.
Central Bank of Nigeria in a statement on Monday recognized the use of the old 200, 500 and 1,000 naira note as a legal tender till 31st December this year. It is a sigh of relief for many bank customers who find it hard to access their hard-earned deposits in the bank owing to the CBN's naira redesign and cashless policy. Some bank customers said they are happy with the development, but government should avoid the kind of confusion their silence must have caused.
It's a good policy, but unfortunately it came late because people have suffered a lot. You know, you could hear people dying while going to get currency, while going to get cash, either at the ATM or the banking hall. It's quite unfortunate that despite the fact that many Nigerians, many we in Nigerians have gone against this policy, and that CBN and with the Supreme Court decision almost close to a week plus now, and just yesterday CBN governor is coming out to tell the public that they can continue using the old currency.
Baba, I never collect, I never even see this money safe. I still reason and share, I still reason them, but because I still reason and be say, you know, say before, if God talk, we go wait for president. Now president never talk, but CBN don't talk. Sure, but as the reason, if not be the cocoa.
Some said that the people really suffered from the cashless policy implementation, adding that many were subjected to unnecessary hardship.
According to what I hear yesterday, they say CBN say we could use the old naira notes, and for the direction where we see where the thing they go, the thing no make sense. That means Nigeria know they move forward. Why it no make sense to me? Be say, I think say they have plan for in the initial stage of introducing the new currency, but now coming in direction of stopping the old currency, bringing the new currency to come in existence. Unfortunately, yesterday night they said we should go back to the old currency. That means I don't see the government, whether the government have any good direction.
They are taking us back. Since they have already taken it out, let it remain out. The way forward is just to make sure that the new currency is being printed out more so that it will just circulate. I didn't succeed with getting money because everywhere they lock the gate and they are saying they are giving old currency, but yet there was no money. And I've been there for over 2 hours, so there's no need. I have to go back.
The Supreme Court had on March 3rd ordered that the old naira note remained legal tender till December 31st.
Despite the Central Bank of Nigerian directive to make the old currency a legal tender in the country, people are finding it very difficult, especially at the ATM machines, and they complain to us that the machine is not dispensing the new or the old currency, making life difficult for them. In Abuja, Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News.
You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Still to come. Tackling the menace of killer containers. Do stay with us.
That's great.
Welcome back. If you're just joining, you're watching News Update on Trust TV. Now recap of some of our major stories. Troops intercept 900 family members and collaborators of Boko Haram fighters. Ahead of governorship election, INEC asks security agencies to perform optimally. Moving on to other stories now, rice farmers in Katsina State have commended the Anchor Borrow scheme introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria under President Muhammadu Buhari. The Farmers Association, while expressing satisfaction with the program, said rice production has increased in the state. Jamil Mabai has the details.
In the last 8 years, rice farming in Katsina has significantly increased, thanks to the Anchor Borrower scheme. Prior to the scheme, harvest was limited to a minimum of 2 bags per farmer. but has risen to 500 bags. The Rice Family leadership in Katsina recalled how farmers at grassroots level benefited from the scheme. Even in dream, we never thought we could grow rice in Katsina. But with the introduction of Anko Borough by the federal government to empower small-scale farmers, I am a living testimony. I made more than 1,000 bags of rice, and my members here also. Increased rice produced has led to the establishment of the Dharma Rice Factory. The factory was commissioned by President Muhammadu Buhari last month in Katsina. Farmers who are hoping for a continuity of the current APC government at state level have unanimously agreed to vote for the incumbent government. We want to use this opportunity to remember what happened on the 18th of March. Let us vote APC at all levels. Some of the farmers spoke on the impact the Anko Borough scheme has on them. We had unused dams, but with rice farming, we have utilized every dam and land in our area. We have empowered women in rice farming. You were happy then. You made huge profit. It's payback time. We are not asking you to return the money. Rather, vote for the party that gave you these empowerments. Rice farmers in Katsina are optimistic that Katsina will be the major rice hub, not just in Nigeria, but Africa at large. Jamilu Mabai, Trust TV News, Katsina.
Away from that, the rising cases of unlatched containers falling on road users in Lagos State and the country at large has become a source of concern for many Nigerians. The menace has inspired a petition with thousands of signatures calling on authorities to check what seems to have become a menace on Nigerian roads. In this special report, Trust TV examines its causes and likely ways of curtailing it. Take a look.
It was a Black Sunday on January 29, 2023 in Lagos, when a truck conveying a 20-foot container lost control with the container landing on a commercial bus and killing 9 people. The bus was said to be waiting to pick passengers when the incident happened at Ojuelegba Bridge in Surulere, the same bridge which has been notorious for such accidents in the past. Since the January incident, there have been several cases of accidents involving containers. Many say the rate at which containers are falling on Lagos roads calls to question the existing safety practices and remedial actions put in place by the authorities to avoid such ugly incidents, which more often than not leave behind trails of death and anguish. Several factors have been identified as being responsible for the high rate of container accidents, all mostly bordering on human factor. Coordinator of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Lagos Territorial Office, Ibrahim Farinloye, said most of the accidents are avoidable with strict adherence to safety protocols by truck drivers.
I experienced when the tanker, either gas or petrol tanker, explodes. What we found out was that a certified vehicle will be loaded at the depot. Once they get out of the depot, they transfer the cargo, the tank, to another low-level truck. So most vehicles may not pass through normal standard. Remember, the Federal Road Safety Commission just had an agreement with Nigerian Port Authority to checkmate this menace.
For the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA, the frequent container crashes pose a serious challenge in effective management of traffic in the state. Director of Public Affairs of the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, Adebayo Taufik, blames truck drivers for not always obeying simple traffic rules and regulations on the highways, while some of them drive under the influence of alcohol.
Your causes are brake failures and overspeeding, and not excessive driving and not adhering to traffic signs on our roads. You would agree with me, in about 2 weeks ago, the state recorded nothing less than about 15 different container falling across the state. You have one that happens at Oju-Elegba, you have one at Okota, Meron, Badagry, K2. But preliminary investigation and the research at which the agency conducted revealed that most of these trucks are not well packaged. Packaged in the sense that the owner or the driver doesn't make sure that these trucks are in good condition.
A truck driver who speaks on the development reiterates the need for his colleagues to observe all safety protocols on the roads and always ensure their trucks are in good condition. Stakeholders say with the cases rising on a daily basis, appropriate measures should be taken to end the menace.
Away from Nigeria now, more than 200 people are now confirmed dead in Malawi after Tropical Storm Freddy ripped through southern Africa for the second time in a month. Huge amounts of brown water have cascaded through neighborhoods, sweeping away homes. Malawi's commercial hub, Blantyre, has recorded most of the deaths, including dozens of children. Aid agencies are warning that the devastation will exacerbate a cholera outbreak in Malawi. The government has declared a state of disaster in 10 southern districts that have been hardest hit by the storm. Rescue workers are overwhelmed and are using shovels to try to find survivors buried in the mud. And in sports, Nigeria's under-17 men football team Golden Eaglets will resume camp on Wednesday after taking a break due to the general elections. Coach for the under-17 team, Nduka Ugbade, said about 90 of the players who have undergone an earlier magnetic resonance imaging would return to Abuja. The team is preparing for the under-17 World Cup of Africa Cup of Nations, scheduled to hold in May in the cities of Algiers, Constantine and Annaba in Algeria. After an impressive show in the WAFU Zone B Championship in June 2022 ended with the team emerging as champions, the Ugbade tutored team qualified for the group stage of the Nations Cup. They were drawn alongside Morocco, South Africa and Zambia. The Golden Eaglets have won the competition on 2 occasions, with their most recent title coming from the 2007 squad that went on to win the World Cup. The best 4 teams from the Africa Cup of Nations will qualify for the 2023 FIFA Under-17 World Cup in Peru between November and December 2023. And with that, we've come to the end of News Update at this hour. Do well to follow us across all our media platforms. I'm Sagiru Ibrahim. Thanks for watching.